Getting it up, deploying.
Woo, what's going on, America? This is your
good?
favorite live show with the Patriot Business Alliance, and we got our man from Black Level, Jeff Skinner. We got our special guest here, Jim Hendley, and as always, Mike Doc Rannigan here. The infamous Doc Rannigan. We got some new lighting going on this evening.
I was about to say, man, I'm digging whatever.
Evan, is this what you were talking about?
Pretty much doing over here.
I'm doing it. So if you guys like this new lighting setup, please let me know because I'm digging it. I think it's bringing out my good side.
What is that Party Central they had in New York?
I don't know. We're gonna start getting some beats here in a little bit.
Yeah,
So
hey, it's Wednesday. Let's start with our wins, man.
Go ahead, on Wednesday. What do you got for us, Jeff? You seem pretty excited about sharing that.
Man, I tell you what, dude. Personally, I think I'm just in a better mindset than I was, say, 30 days ago. Kind of fell on my woe is me inside a little bit, and just kind of broke through those chains, I guess you would call it. The last couple of weeks, started diving into books and diving into things that are, okay, get outside of my head, get outside of myself. So me personally, the win is I'm outside of my head. I'm seeing a little bit clearer. Business win is we're just continuing to dominate, create new client relationships. I guess the biggest thing is the Snowvid 2.0 this year. The last couple of days we got stuck inside. A lot of people probably were like playing video games and watching Netflix, doing whatever. Oh, I spent the whole entire time working on my website, working on my client list, working on my email system, and really just kind of put together my service program that I've been working on for the last 3 or 4 months. So I just used those 4 days and just completely engulfed myself with the things that I had been not having the time to take care of.
Sounds like you stole your time back.
That's exactly what I did.
So, which is used for people to be that self-disciplined, because that wasn't me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I went out and I played with my kids. I got my freaking golf cart stuck in the ditch, and just kind of enjoyed it. But we did. Now that you mentioned it, me and Rochelle did sit down and we talked about some new financial strategies and how to continue to promote our wealth and how to diversify our portfolios together. I got on track with my oldest daughter, and she's really starting to get a game plan for when she gets to graduate. So just, a lot
right around the corner,
like tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be here before we know it. And so she's excited. We're excited. Some real wins this week. We slept on like 6 roofs this week in the month of February.
Oh, this is February.
Well, you're right. It is only Wednesday. No, this week.
Yeah.
We'll install 6 roofs
awesome.
This week, which is actually, and the reason that's a win is because it's February, right? Like no storm season, nothing out there that's really promoting going out there and doing this sort of service. And I can really say it's because of the team that we have, the relationship that we've built with inside of this community, and just doing the right thing, right? Consistently doing the right thing and bringing on the right form of client.
Oh man, that's key that you say that, because not every client's your client. Not all good money is good money kind of thing we talk about, and building that kind of pot of good clients that are less than a pot of like a shitload of clients that are just okay. I'm always for the smaller, good
quality over quantity.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it just goes to show. I mean, that's just kind of what we're probably going to dip into a little bit on tonight's topic of that extreme ownership, right? I see a lot more of I don't want to call them employees, but coworkers or whatever they are, taking ownership of their own life.
Yeah, that's critical.
Taking ownership of what they truly want to become, to create the lifestyle that they want to create, and I see them getting it right. And so that right there has just been a huge win for me, because
see the light bulb.
You just don't like seeing people fail, right? People come into your organization and and you feed them this dream, and you say, look, this is the opportunity, this is it. But to get to that, right, takes a lot of work and energy and effort and consistency, and
so many things,
right? So many different things. So Jim, what about you, my friend? Business wins, personal wins, anything crazy happened to you over the last 7 to 10 days?
Like I said, I shared earlier this week, a business win is just being here, working with you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and spend some time with you. So I'm in a new place in my career where I'm starting a business, and it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs, and you kind of sometimes you're like, what was I thinking? Other times, you get excited about what you're doing, and this is being able to work with your team has just energized me and given me the opportunity to flex my muscles and grow and learn and put processes into place. And so I'm really appreciative of that. It's so that's been a win for me professionally. Personally, it's kind of along the similar lines, like just being staying positive, with that kind of unknown in my future. My wife sat down this weekend and did the finances, and then she was like about to have a heart attack, and I was like,
Jim, get your shit together.
It's okay. This isn't a permanent state that we're in.
Yeah.
We're moving forward. We're building something. And so she was like, okay. Like
there's something very cool. It can be stressful, but it's very cool about sitting down and literally focusing on just your finances, because as a business owner, there's so many different things to focus on, right? But I took my time about 2 weeks ago and said, okay, I want to know where every single dollar I spent or made came from and went to, and it took me all day to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, I had our PBA notebook, right? Mm-hmm. And I had 4 or 5 categories of what I spent my money on. And it was just so eye-opening to go, okay, now I'm in control of this again. Yep. Because when you get moving and grooving on a daily basis, sometimes you forget about those things. And that money can start just going, and you
control your money controls you.
Yeah, same with your time, man. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what your business is and how people can kind of get a hold of you for what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm retired in the Navy. So I did 23 years in the Navy as a logistics officer.
Okay.
I say logistics because I was mostly in the expeditionary realm. So I didn't do traditional supply for very long. Mm-hmm. So I did do one ship tour in 23 years. Pretty abnormal for a supply officer.
You did get an ESWAS though, right?
I did get my Swissco pin, which is the supply version of an
ESWAS. Okay.
So I got my Swissco pin, but I also got my Expeditionary Warfare Supply Corps pin. Mm-hmm. So that was coup de grace. I actually helped write the PQS for that.
So that's what they do in the Navy. They just throw out.
So that's how they got. That's how he got it. He's like, really, I just wrote my own damn award up and submitted it, and now I got one.
I already did that.
Yeah. Check it out. So 23 years in the Navy.
So 23 years in the Navy, and really, like I said, I love the expedition. I didn't really want to be a supply officer. I joke all the time. I was a supply officer because I had bad grades.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense because we're the business managers of the Navy, but that's kind of how it worked. And I wound up having the opportunity to deploy with SEAL teams, to go to Afghanistan with Seabees, work with the EOD community and the maritime security forces, which are expeditionary, which they're out of the box thinkers. Mm-hmm. There is no book, chapter, verse for how to do logistics for those guys. Yeah. And that's where I really enjoyed, the opportunity to kind of pave our own way, to find the right way to do things and to build teams that would go out and do that. And of course, with their operating with the Navy SEALs in Iraq, my guys had to build trust.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big part of what my leadership kind of was forged into was how to build high trust teams that would go out and perform when it counted.
Perfect, so now, perfect for tonight's topic.
I've been in that process of trying to go back through and go like, what did I do? And what was the process for that? And putting that to work to basically do leadership coaching and consulting. So I've kind of put together some curriculum. I'm writing a book to just kind of help others learn how to do the same thing. I think trust in a business culture is critical, right?
It's foundational,
especially with this kind of the millennials that are now kind of the business managers, middle managers in organizations, and the Gen X that come up. They're starting to be a part of the workforce. They don't have the same approach to authority that
different
that we
mindset.
did. Yeah, it's a different mindset. And so intentionally building trust with your employees, I think is critical to success. And I think this is a unique time in our history where, the great resignation has created the perfect opportunity for companies that will invest in building trust cultures to get the talent and retain the talent that will give them a competitive advantage.
We were just talking about that before we went live tonight about, giving that employee or team member, however you want, giving them comfort to know that they don't need to worry about anything but coming here and doing their best.
Right.
Right. The outside noise of the world can dictate how you perform if you allow it to. And to build that trust factor is immense. I mean, we all do it here on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Especially with your business in the consulting world, like you have to be able to have a trusting relationship. Are you guys teaming together?
So I met Jim at the RVBA event in January.
Okay. I remember seeing him. Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, hey, who's the oldest? Who's the youngest? He raised his hand. He was the youngest.
Cha-ching.
Right.
Not age, just
no. youngest business owner. Right. And I wasn't really, when he raised his hand, I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay.
Greg gave it away.
I was like, what do you do? You don't look like the youngest business owner, but whatever. And he decided he was a leadership coach. And I said, well, what is one of the biggest things that you're struggling with as a brand new business owner out the door? And everything and anybody is leads. Right. So that was and so we wrote the word leads up on the board. And then we asked everybody that was at the event to write down how they generate leads. And then, they ended up the whiteboard being filled with all these different ideas, and concepts, and of how to generate leads. And I believe you took a photo of it. And then he reached back out to me and he was like, man, let's grab a one-on-one, started telling me what he was doing. And I was like, you know what, Jim, fuck it, let's do it. I'll give you an opportunity. Come evaluate me. I'm like probably the most chaotic, most unorganized, most like just you know what I mean? I'm a freaking grenade of business, right? Like if you can get me straight, I promise you,
the rest will be easy.
Everybody else, any other business that you take on, you're like, I got you, bro. Don't even worry about it. And you'll tell stories about you. Like, don't worry, I know this guy Doc. The way he operated was freaking retarded and nuts and crazy. However, he did it. So I decided to give the man an opportunity. You know that I am a huge advocate for small business owners.
Absolutely.
I love giving a brand new business owner the opportunity to just dive into what they're passionate about. And when he told me his background as a commander in the Navy, and then, what he just spoke about, how he had to come up with the entire SOP on how to integrate these people with these people to build trust.
So many different parts.
Right. And like my mind was blown, right? Because if anybody knows how special operators train together, they're a tight-knit community. They don't want nobody else in their circle, right?
Well,
if you didn't bleed with me, right? If you didn't bleed with me, you didn't train with me, you didn't go down the pipe with me, then you can't be with me. And so for you to be able to take Joe Smuckatelli and say, hey man, I'm gonna need you to go ride with Jocko Willick and David Goggins and you know what I mean, Marcus Luttrell and like these dudes, like I'm gonna need you're gonna need to do some things and harden up. And you came up with that, and you incredibly enough presented that to the Navy SEALs and said, look, this is what I'm offering. This is how we're going to do this. They accepted it. And you know what I mean? So that right there had me hook, line, and sinker. I was like, well, man, if you can do that, I said, well, let's see what we're working with. So he's gone and he's interviewed me, and now he's gone throughout this week and interviewed each of the staff members here at Docs. And then sooner or later we'll get together and do a debrief. And then he'll say, well, look, this is what we need to do. This is what you don't need to do. I'm just assuming this is what's going to happen.
Man, it's just,
and then you can decide whether.
I mean, I love stories like that, because we tend to do business with people the cliche know, like, and trust, right? But it's also about the opportunity to hold ourselves accountable in business and say, hey, I don't know everything. right? There's somebody out there that's probably smarter, faster, stronger that can come in and bring a completely different outlook to my business. And the fact that you're doing that, it speaks volumes with just the culture that you have in your building. Because if anybody knows Doc's culture, if you've seen this place when he's having a training session, it's not like a training boring, you know, like people are up, standing around, they're talking. It's the environment is cool. So I love to see people succeeding and doing business with each other. I mean, you know, Evan, for example, 6 months ago when Casey started using them, and 3 months ago when he started helping us,
quit his job.
The dude, quit his job, started his own business, and he can't keep up with it right now, man. So the Patriot Business Alliance is what we're sharing right now is exactly what we're about. So, man, best of luck to you, brother. I'm glad to have you here tonight.
And
so I just want to say, like, that was evident. Every person I talked to that works at Doc's was, you know, all in on the fact that you are investing in them, in their personal growth, you know, regardless almost of, you know, what else, you know, might be going well or not, was like, hey, we're learning so much about how to grow as people. And so that was definitely a tribute to you.
I think he's just saying that because he's on the show.
No, he's not.
He's a genuine Jim. I mean, like, and that was another reason that, you know what I mean, you can get people that are oil salesmen, right? Snake oil salesmen, and then you can find people that are like, you know what, like this guy means it. Like, there's just something that clicked when I started talking with Jim and what he was about. You know what I mean? And you're right, because I ask my guys all the time, if you don't like it, then tell me how to be better. You know what I mean? And it's extremely important for me to give back to anybody around me. Like, you don't even have to work for me. If ask Evan, yourself, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm willing to give my heart and soul to whomever to make them more successful.
I think I was sitting here while we're talking and thinking to myself, man, I just naturally have done that with the people that have worked for me, have more focused on, hey, how are you doing personally? Like, what are your personal goals and how can I help you get there? And I think anybody that I've ever worked for as an employee, those are the people that I gained the most trust with, were the people who were like, yo, how's your wife doing? Hey, how's your kid doing? Hey, did you get that apartment you've been looking at for 3 months? Heck yeah, I got it, man. Good stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact of building trust goes so much further than, hey, come to work, do your job, clock in, clock out, because people will see that. And those are the turnover people. The people that come, want to get rich quick. They don't want to put the work in. They just want immediate representation of, hey, I'm doing good. Please tell me. There's so much more work that's involved with building trust than just coming and showing up.
Well, we spend too much time at work. To just exchange our work for pay.
100% agree.
Like, we need to be involved in an organization that is going to invest in us, and and by in turn, we then feel free to just give all we have. You know, I've worked for a company that, you know, kind of would use that as their mantra. Well, I'm paying you for 100% of your effort. I'm like, no, you cannot pay me enough to get 100% of my effort. It takes more than just money for that. It takes trust.
Well, but that's facts, right? Like, dude, I never looked at it like that.
But that clip, dude. That is so true to the core. Like, when you think about it that way, it's amazing because we're all 110%ers in here. Like, that's all we know. Right. But
when you feel, when you feel there's trust, when you feel it's almost like a protective umbrella. Right. When your leaders are willing to invest you and kind of protect you and they have your back. Then you feel safe enough to just go after it and give it all, and you're not worried about that. I call it the scarcity mentality. Some people buy into that scarcity mentality, and it says, hey, you got to get yours or someone else is going to get it. But the opposite is really true. Like, there's enough for everybody if we can just support each other.
100%.
Like you said, you give back, you worry about your people, because they're the ones that are going to make or break the organization.
They're your brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I've made some business moves in the last month or so, and this is like literally solidifying those decisions I just made. I mean, it's amazing to me. Like, just 20 minutes you've been here, I'm already like, okay, I get it now. That's cool.
And, and that comes down to the PBA agreed to read a book as a team, right? And that's the book of Extreme Ownership. If you guys haven't read it, we highly encourage you to pick it up, get the audiobook. I'm not promoting the people that wrote it. I'm just promoting the content that's inside that book is invaluable. And in chapter 2 of that book, I was kind of highlighting it before we got on this evening. And one of the things that really stood out to me, it says not about what you preach, but it's about what you tolerate as a leader. You know what I mean? And there's so much value in that for me because I talk a lot, right? And so therefore I preach a lot, right? But how much do I actually tolerate? And when I took a step back and looked, I'm like, am I tolerating lies, bullshit, excuses, this, that, and the other, and letting this guy skate by?
Yeah.
Or am I actually, if I say, hey, look, hard time, 8 a.m., this is when you need to be here, no excuses, you know what I mean? What am I preaching, and is it matching what I tolerate? And so that leads me to a question for you, Jim.
That's heavy.
Whenever you were in the service and you were trying to develop this new SOP, like there had to be some of that give and take, right? You had to tolerate some mistakes and some red tape, obviously. And in that leadership position, when shit hit the fan, like what were some of your, what's the word I'm looking for? Like your stressors, right? Like how did you combat that without going, you know what? I'm not the guy for the job. You know what? You got the wrong dude. Yeah. Here's the towel. I'm out. What did you keep as a leader to say, I'm not running back from this. I'm going to own this shit.
Yeah. It's interesting because it was definitely an evolution, right? Like I wasn't born as the best.
Yes, you were, Jim.
Supply leader ever, right? Like, and actually did 2 deployments with the SEAL teams, and I can really I look back and see the contrast of where I started because I had no real training or preparation for that, and to be honest, the preparation that we get in school is kind of counter to what really works.
Oh, completely opposite.
Because we're kind of the people that say no, right? Like we're right behind lawyers,
right?
We're the next no people, right?
Yeah.
Like supply guys are the ones that go, no, you can't do that.
I remember.
That you're gonna go to they constantly threatened us with going to prison, right? If we screw up,
yeah.
And then we're the ones supposed to keep the CO out of jail, right? And it was really such a simple example, but I had this epiphany where I realized my job is not to say no, but find a way to yes.
Okay.
And I started to develop the ability to find a way to yes, and to kind of, I guess, a little bit say that politically, right? Like
we're not
the answer's
very political
not no,
show. Yeah.
But we can't do it that way. Let me find the right way to get you what you need, to find a way to yes.
Yeah.
And I remember very vividly telling my guys, let me be the no person if you feel the answer is no.
Yeah.
Blame it on me. You have to live and work and survive with those guys. And they're signing your fit rep. I was like, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You say, if push comes to shove, you say, Suppo's going to kick my ass if I do it this way.
Yes.
I want to support you.
So you had to teach your people how to finagle their verbiage in order to achieve the end result.
Right.
But also setting the totally about everything we're talking about in February, but setting the example for the younger leaders to see, hey, Seppo is taking ownership of this.
Let me
own extreme accountability.
Yeah.
Like he already told me, I can put it on him and he's cool with it.
Right.
You know what? Maybe I won't put it on him. Maybe I'll take it on.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about.
The idea is that they become the problem solver.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you encourage that and support that. But at the same time, you recognize sometimes you're going to bump up against a brick wall where they're asking for something, and you just know deep down that the answer is not yes.
Yeah.
From your perspective, let me be the person to say it. And it's likely that I have more visibility, more resources, potentially
a little higher up in the chain.
It was probably Seppo who wouldn't allow me to take home the tip of the 25 mic round. And I even asked nicely.
They strip searched me.
I said, hey, and the guy's like, Doc, you can't take that home. And I was like, but it's not live because it's no longer a part. And he was like, no, I'll go to jail. And I'm like, I won't tell anybody we're in freaking. I was like, well, that's cool. So can I keep it or not? And I didn't get to keep it, which would
I remember they dumped your whole world down to your skivvies before we deployed back home.
So many people were mailing home like hand grenades and shit.
Yeah, man, insane.
We literally had a JAG who was new to the team, kind of prior to deployment, because they come in later.
Yeah,
right, just in time for deployment, and she got up there and gave this like hardcore spiel on war trophies and the entire time. There is literally a golden seal in the lobby of the building where she's standing that is war trophy. Like,
that's right.
It wasn't officially.
Some guys got some pretty
probably
cool stuff.
Documented now, just for the record, but at the time, everybody in the room knew. So it was a joke, right?
The running jokes are like, I get it. The elephant in the room, just don't tell the lawyers.
That's it, Jag.
Right. But it really, I mean, to go back, it really is about just taking ownership and providing that blanket kind of coverage so that they could do their job and support as best they could. And I would take the hits. There had to be a hit.
I don't think I ever looked at leadership the way you've kind of broken it down as far as the blanket. For an analogy, right? I've always kind of looked at leadership as setting the example, practice what you preach, those typical things. But I guess I knew it, but I never looked at it as leadership is also protection, right? Because when you protect and you enable them to become better, then they want to stand forward and they want to be the tip of the spear. They don't want to bring problems to you because they're like, I need to solve this. He'll think I'm a badass for doing it.
Yep.
I never looked at it that way, but that's kind of how I roll my team.
Yeah.
Like I want them to succeed. I want them to do good personally, but I also want them to fail so we can talk about it and fix it.
Feel free to fail.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I'm not gonna lop your head off.
Yes.
Because you fail. And that really, for me, I learned some of those lessons as a dad. Right, because it's a little different. It's a different framework, and kids are innocent and young, and so you don't feel like you can treat them the same way you can treat a young
Navy SEAL.
And my kids were adopted, so they even came in even more
vulnerable,
vulnerable and needy. And so we kind of realized like they need structure, and they need to feel safe above anything else for them to grow and flourish. Like. Maslow's hierarchy is safety. And if you're not safe, then you're in survival mode.
All the time.
Survival mode is not a place to grow. It's a place to
It's more of a defense
mechanism.
Absolutely.
Fight or flight.
Well, and you limit yourself when you're in survival mode because you don't want to take any unnecessary risks.
Well, you're also only using that survival part of your brain.
That's what I was going to say too. That focus is only
the frontal cortex,
right?
Which is logic.
Yeah,
logic does not really get to come into play if you're in fight or flight.
Yeah, because when you're in that mode, you're really focused on just one thing, right? Which is stay alive.
Yep.
Yes,
per se.
Defend
you're not
yourself, protect
you're
yourself.
Missing on that opportunity. Oh, that opportunity, or you might even miss on something where it's not really an opportunity, but it's a chance for you to fix something that may be damaging down the road. So that you're dropping some heavy stuff today.
Well, it's always, as a leader, I would assume that it's our responsibility to present our team with problems to increase their problem solving skills.
Absolutely.
And
or let them
do it.
Let them struggle, right? Like
my problem with that, though,
you just gotta let them struggle and fall.
I'm okay with that on my son. Like I'll let him struggle till it hurts. You know what I mean? And I'll just change your socks, drink some water, suck it up, move forward. Yeah. I think where I have the problem with that as a business owner is time is money, right? Yeah. So I find myself all too often going, "Hey, just let me finish this," right? So I'm kind of holding.
You're
back.
Stealing from them,
and I'm robbing them from opportunity to grow. So I've been working on that the last, I'd say, month or so as my new guy Parker's kind of coming up the ranks. But I'm very much, hey, get out of the way. Like you're taking too much time. We got to get this done. So I have to work on that, man. That's a me thing though.
I read something the other day, and I was kind of referencing the same material was extreme ownership, and may have even been quoting Jocko or something.
Yeah.
But there's an extreme ownership that kind of comes natural to alphas, right?
Sure.
Let me do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's another end of that spectrum that is very difficult, which says no matter who on my team failed, I failed.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
No bad leaders, or no bad teams, only bad leaders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you look at it from that perspective and you go, how do I own someone else's failures? Like, how do I do that in a productive growth mentality?
How would you answer that question? Because that's a great question, and I'm sure anybody who just answered.
Yeah, please comment in below.
I
can tell you what I've done.
If you're like me, I'm going to answer that so I know.
Yeah. Well, no, I do that with my son, right? Because I want to see my son be successful, and when he doesn't hit these benchmarks, I look back and I take ownership. Yeah. I'm like, did I not put enough effort into going with him to this? Did I not get you the right book? Did I not take enough time out of my day to put into you? You know what I mean? Should I have been picking you up every day from school and making sure this shit was going down? Should I have micromanaged? You know what I mean? There's all these different things. I'm like, is it my fault? And then they go, well, maybe it's a learning disability, or maybe it's this. And then it's like, well, shit, it's my genes. Yeah. Right. So now I'm again at blame. Yeah. Right. So there's a difference, in my opinion, of having extreme ownership versus extreme guilt.
You know, but a big part of that is expectation.
Yes.
Did I set? So if let's just say your son has a learning disability, did you set an expectation that was unrealistic? And if so, own it. Right. Right. And then that's really when I just
wanted to make C's,
failing
Jim.
At this. What's that?
I just wanted to make C's.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, like, hey,
I'm okay with it.
With one of my sons, we were like, hey, productive member of society. Like,
that's
just
it.
keep the bar right here.
Right.
Yeah.
And
just put your damn shoes on. Right?
That's where you set the expectation.
But with companies, what I see is the failure to own their part and maybe setting a goal too high. I mean, a lot of companies set arbitrary growth, 10% growth every year. Well,
shoot it up.
Well, what's going on in the environment? We just had COVID. Is 10% growth still realistic when you acknowledge that COVID was unpredictable? I think no. I think you should adjust, and you should say, hey, we couldn't have predicted it. You could. Why would you still hold an employee accountable for a goal that was set prior to COVID without owning?
Yeah, that's adaptability though, right? And that's having the cognizance awareness to say, hey, there's some real bad shit going on that we have no control over. Like even to this day, there's still supply chain and logistics issues that are like going to be here for years to come, guys. Like seriously, in an industry like mine where it's a lot of tangible goods, they're telling us it could be 2024 before things square themselves away. So as a business, what do you think I heard? I heard I better buy a bunch of shit so I have it. Straight up.
Well, so that's what's happened.
Invested in some inventory, right? Because I don't want to be caught where I was in quarter 3. Going, man, we can do it, but it's gonna be 3 months. Right. You had the same thing. You were waiting on your stuff, you know. And
I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah, but it's okay because I will, because I'm owning it.
You brought it up.
I'm owning it. I'm owning it. But I like how you explain that there's the ownership, but then there's also the allowing people to fail. And while I think I'm okay with allowing people to fail, I think I'm okay with that. What I don't want that failure to do is cost my business brand. Like I don't want it to hurt.
What if it's the long game?
It is always a long game.
So hey, it may cost you a little bit now. But in the end, where does that employee go? They learn from it, and they then get you.
I'll take some mud on the face for one of my teammates.
Yeah, me too.
Right, I'll get kicked in the teeth once or twice, and once or twice is about all I'm going to take. You know what I mean? But it becomes
at the end of the day, you're really trying to create leaders within your team, so we can step back as business owners, and create other leaders and maybe different companies or other ventures that we want to get involved with. So. That's you're pulling on my heartstrings, Jim, because that's kind of where I'm at in year 5, man.
Well, it's easy to talk about, right? It's always easier to talk about.
But it's good to hear reassurance of it, that it's not something I'm going through that no one else did.
Right.
And I hope that's what you guys are getting out of this as well.
Jeff, before we got kicked off this evening, you had mentioned something that I wrote down over here, that leaders focus on systems and not the goal. What kind of brought that to you, and kind of what's that about?
I started listening to this new book today, and it's, he broke it down, and I'll look the book up here in a second because it's so new. I just, started it, but he broke it down into basically, the book is called Atomic Habits.
Okay.
And somebody had recommended it to me a month ago. And if someone tells me about a book, boom, I'll just dump it into Audible, right? So chapter 1 was pretty much just a preface of the whole book. And essentially he was talking about people who are focused on goals, are focused on essentially, and don't get me wrong, goals, you have to have them, right? Let me preface by saying that. The people that focus on goals are really those who are focused on a short-term payoff, essentially. So, hey, my goal is to hit $1 million this year. Boom. Okay, now what? What's the sustainability in that? So what they're saying is focus on the system, which is sustainable because you can continually create a better process for those systems instead of focusing purely on just a goal.
Right.
Because the goal is intermediate, like it's a temporary thing.
Yes.
Temporary gratification.
Exactly.
Well, and that's even if it comes to fruition.
If you attain the goal.
Exactly.
I posted something the other day that a goal without an emotional connection and the habits that will get you to that goal is just a dream that passes in the night.
And this book right here, basically just chapter 1, it says exactly that.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the goal, it's the daily habits. So immediately when I was listening to this on my way to Quinlan, I got 30 minutes. I'm gonna throw a new book on. I got to Quinlan and I'm like, man, I'm reevaluating my whole life right now. You know what I mean? For a good thing though.
Yeah,
that's what I've been needing for the last month, where I've been kind of in my head is something that tells me, look, 1% better every single day, you're 37% better at the end of the year.
Yep.
1% backwards every day, you get to 0 like that. You know what I mean? And then where you're at now, you're digging yourself out of a trench,
which is 3 months behind, you're a quarter behind.
So just to continually feed yourself with the right alliance, the right circle, the right knowledge, like all of these little things are just getting you to that 1% better every day. So, man, I'm on fire about this book, dude. I want to listen to the rest of it tonight. It was just like, okay, I got some shit to work on. Right. And I'm okay with that.
I think it's good because I think, one, there's a really interesting parallel there between processes and systems in an organization and personal habits. Like that's a good kind of equating the two in that I say habits are the bumper rails to your future. Right. If you have a goal and you want to get there, you got to set the habits in place to keep you from falling on a ditch. Right? To keep you from taking the side road when you're not there yet. So those personal habits, and I think as military people, we kind of almost take that for granted because we get ingrained in us these really good habits, right? Get up early, work out, do your stuff, work hard all day.
Look good, dress nice.
Right? Like what are those are really good habits that we can take for granted. A lot of people don't have that.
Man, I tell you what, though.
Where does it get you? You still gotta align those habits or tweak those habits with the goal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this short hour of this one chapter today completely shifted my mindset 180 degrees for the remainder of the day. And guys, I listen to these things in the morning. You know why? Because it sets the tone for the day, like we always talk about here. So for the rest of the day, while I'm still being productive, focusing on my business, so forth and so on, in the back of my head is resonating louder than any other thought I have. It's like, okay, I can create a habit, but can I sustain that habit to where it becomes a natural process in myself?
Yep.
That's the question.
It should become as natural as brushing your teeth.
Yeah, because people want to go to the gym, like we were talking about with Evan. They want to go to the gym and lose 15 pounds, but if they lose 13, but they look good and they feel good, are they still disappointed? 95% of people are, because they're focused on the weight, they're focused on the scale, right? The goal. They're not focused on the system to build the habits.
It's the system that really stands out. And so when you said that, like, I had made a goal for achieving X amount of dollars without a system in place to achieve X amount of dollars. Hence why Jim is now coming in and evaluating our company.
Big dollar too. That was a big dollar too.
It was a big, you know what I mean? It was a big dollar. It was a big dollar because I'm that Like I'm that passionate about getting it and attaining it. And so while reading, you know, these books, Extreme Ownership, Can't Hurt Me, Atomic Habits, Dave Ramsey, Zig Ziglar, you name it, right? I can read all the books in the world that I want. But if I don't implement jack squat from the information that I read, then it was futile. All I did was read some words, right? And it's about how am I going to implement the information on a daily basis and take ownership for that stuff that I'm doing.
So how are you going to implement
shameless plug.
Yeah, go ahead.
So personal coaching is that same thing.
Yeah.
Right, on a personal level.
Right.
It's saying, hey, well, okay, you set a goal. That's great. You know, why is that even important to you? So knowing the why, we talk about a lot, but really answering that question can take some time.
Yes.
And some inflect, you know.
I'm going to need to sit down with you this week, Jim, just FYI.
Okay, my number, maybe.
Hey, on a real note, though, like
straight through.
Tell the listeners and the viewers, because this isn't just a live. We're also on, Apple, Spotify, podcast, the whole deal. Business name and best way to contact you.
Okay, so Leaders Edge Consulting is the business name.
Okay.
The website is www.leadersedge.consulting.
Okay.
So I got that weird consulting.
Well, it makes sense to have that
already taken back.
as consulting, because now I know where I'm headed, right?
Leadersedge.consulting is it, and then all, you know, my information's in there, my background's in there, and then you can sign up, you know, either for a free 30-minute coaching where we're just going to talk and get to know each other and figure out what the best solution is.
It's got to be a good fit on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll also explain a little bit about, you know, my philosophy when it comes to consulting, but it's really kind of taking a leadership or a coaching model and applying it to consulting. So, you know, I'm not a business owner. I'm a brand new business owner. So I can't really come in and tell you how to run a business when I've never done that.
No.
But I can, the coaching model is to ask you questions, to get you to answer your own questions, to solve some of your problems.
Well, you help me become a better leader.
Okay.
Right?
Just being here.
Yeah. Well, no, because you're a commander. So I'm like, fuck it. I got to shape up. I got to look right.
Shape up.
Step up.
So wait, everybody stand by. I start cleaning my desk and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I was
CO's on deck.
I'm telling you what. So it's just
it is kind of cool, though, with your history and your background. And for those of you who don't know, special ops, CBs, SEALs, like that's an elite level mindset. Like forget about the things they actually do. The mindset itself is elite. So the fact that you were just like CENTCOM, you know, command and control for that speaks volumes there. So whether you've learned to run a business or you haven't learned, you can still share massive amounts of knowledge. And also from a business owner standpoint, it's kind of refreshing to hear somebody new come in and go, hey bro, did you think about this? And you're like,
yeah,
what? No. Where have you been?
That's how we're supposed to be doing this?
Yeah.
Right. Because there's no
manual for this.
There's no manual. There's no right or wrong answer. The only key thing that I've ever known of being a successful business owner is consistency.
Absolutely.
Like real talk. The magic pill is waking up and not quitting. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
You know, you may fall flat on your face. You may win big. And as we continue the cycle of becoming a business owner and the years go by, yes, systems get built, systems go away. People get hired, people get fired. But at the end of the day, 15 years have gone by. I'm still running a business. I'm still in business because I did not quit. And we've continuously surrounded ourselves. Again, we go back to that with that know, like, and trust, like-minded people that are smarter than me, people that know leadership 10 times better than I know leadership. I tell them, I said, I'm not the best leader out there, but I am willing to sacrifice everything to make you successful. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
I think it's just a different perspective, you know, to be honest, at a very simple level, just another perspective, someone who, you know, is looking. So I'm obviously not looking at things from a business, you know, quite the same business. So it's clearly a different perspective.
Which is a better edge of the sword sometimes.
Yeah. It's almost like auditing your business, right? Like I hired Jim to come in and audit the company, right? Because I also do financial audits, right? Well, I'll hire a CPA to come in and do a financial audit. Because if I think everything is going great because I have blinders going on and no major fires are going, I think shit's freaking a hunky dory, right? But then you get a third party in that knows just a little bit more about this, that, and the other. They're like, hey, Mike, like you see that, like you're losing money right here, right? They can do cash flow analysis. They can do, where are you burning your money? Where's you keep harping on X, Y, and Z to your team, but you really need to be telling them this before they can ever even attain this X, Y, and Z. The system has to be in place, right? Before. Like you're freaking way over. You've put the cart before the horse with some of your coworkers. Yeah, and so and that's what I'm looking forward to understanding better about myself and the team.
That whole cart before the horse thing really bit me in the ass last year.
Sure,
because as an employee, I always wanted to know, okay, where can I actually go in this company? Right. Like I'm never just happy right here on the ladder. Like there's steps and I want to grow with it. So I think I over delivered on information. I think I put the cart before the horse with some previous employees. And, you know, you get to a point where they're like, okay, I got here. And I was like, nah, bro, like it ain't easy now. Now it's going to get harder. Right. And now the accountability steps up. So I do think that that's a great lesson to be learned, even at a 10 or 15 year business owner or a 5-year or a 3-month or a 2-month, whatever. Anybody can learn and continue to use that thought process in your business, because you have to adapt to things, people, places, all that. Dude, you came in here to drop some bombs tonight.
Some insane amount of information. And
Casey called out today. He's like, not feeling good. We're like, all right, change your socks, drink some water. We got this. I'm like, Doc, he's like, I got a perfect dude. And man, I think tonight's topic of, you know, no bad teams, only bad leaders, with your input, your experience, and what you're trying to grow and build was the perfect storm for tonight's conversation. I'm grateful that you were here, man. Super happy.
Just loads of information coming from Jim. It's incredible. This is, in my opinion, what the Patriot Business Alliance was created for, is for people that are retiring from the military, just got out of the military, just got out of a corporate environment, just got away from a 9-to-5 job, and they have this burning desire that they don't know what to do with. Right? There's this passion that is just roaring inside them, and they feel stagnant. And then they watch our show and they're like, holy shit, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. And it was crazy. I was at the Rockwall Small Business, what RASPA? I'm looking at Evan. Those who can't, RASPA?
Like raspberry?
Like raspberry.
Rockwall Area Business
Small
Alliance.
Business Alliance. And
I don't know. They
yeah, right.
Whatever. Something.
So anyhow, I go and we're sitting down. We're doing these little minute, like speed dating, right, with people. And so one of these gentlemen sits down, he's like, yeah, man, 9 years Navy, just started getting into it's probably financial planning or insurance or fucking whatever it was. And
really? Okay.
Sorry.
You made a big impact.
It was no, but he did make an impact, right? Because he was so passionate about understanding and becoming a business owner, right? Because where he came from, and he went and worked for corporate about it, he wasn't taken seriously. Right. And so I had no idea that he'd ever watched the Patriot Business Alliance. Okay. And he sat down, he's like, oh, you're that guy. Yeah. And I was like, what guy? And
crazy one.
Like, and so now I've scheduled a time to meet with him next week, because he's like, man, I see how you can help people explode their businesses. Yeah. And I want to do it. So it just goes to show that we practice what we preach. We bring on people that know more than what we know. We want to help other people become more successful, because I'm a firm believer, as Jim becomes more successful and he helps this company grow and become more successful, people are going to see that. They're going to call Jim. And the next thing you know, Jim's out of control and he's hiring many consultants. You know what I mean? There's this wildfire effect that will happen, and it's contagious. And people are seeing it around the Rockwall community. They're making new networking groups out in Fort Worth and Frisco. And so the things that we've been doing over the last couple of years have really began to manifest in something that we never thought of.
Yeah, man.
I think that's the.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I don't know if you've read the Go Giver books or heard of the Go Giver books, but that's kind of the it's kind of the philosophy again, getting away from the scarcity mentality and recognizing like if we just give until it hurts, it'll come back. Like, and it's not directly proportional, and we're not worried about that, but just helping other people. There's room for all of us to help each other, and the synergy of that is way bigger, and the potential of that is way bigger than just the individual. Like, oh, let me get mine and let me focus on mine. Another shameless plug. You mentioned veteran groups, so Veterans Beer Club of Dallas Fort Worth is a veterans organization that I kind of brought out from California, started by 3 Marines in Camp Pendleton. Started in
beer and Marines. What do you know?
So who'd have thought?
What gets better than veterans and beer?
Yeah.
Right? So we get together once a month and we network. It's very simple. There's no membership fees, no guidelines, veterans only. And we get together every month and
kind of hang out and talk about
it's a different mindset. You know what I mean? Like the veteran mindset is a like-minded, no matter what branch you are. You know, we all give each other hell all the time, but it's all a greater love. You know what I mean? But it's just a different mentality. And I think, to your point, the word alliance stemmed from the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance.
Absolutely.
Which we, were on board with for a couple of years. Yeah. And then we started this, and now I'm starting to see a trend of people starting different things with the word alliance. If that doesn't tell you how powerful that word is and what becomes of that, then I don't know what does. Like, if you're out there and you have, like Doc said, this burning desire, something is whatever, and you feel like something like what we're doing is what you need to do in your area, do it.
Do it.
Start it. Get 3 guys, get on a podcast,
ask questions.
Yeah, let us know what we would love to see more people helping other people, and you guys getting rid of all of the noise and all of the drama. Because listen, at the bottom line, at the end of the day, is if you're in a negative mindset, it's because you're allowing yourself to live in that world.
That's right.
Without 100% doubt, like
there's
shit out.
Option.
There's always another option, right? So that's my save round. Look,
I just like to use the phrase, try not to allow other people dictate your emotion.
I love that.
And I say that because last night, it's kind of way off topic, I went to an HOA meeting, right, in our new subdivision. Guess who was there, folks? The mayor, Kevin Fowler. Imagine how shocked Mayor Kevin Fowler was when I walked through the door.
He's like, what's this guy doing here?
He was too. That's for another day. So it's good to see you again, Mayor. And so anyways, I'm sitting here just kind of doing me. And there's all these questions. It's like, Rockwall's expanding. It's growing. We got construction here. We got construction there. And one of the guy raises, he goes, Mayor, what are we going to do when all this construction starts?
It's already going on.
And so I'm looking and I'm seeing his face kind of go, well, what do you think we're going to do? We're going to sit in traffic. Like, that's what we're going to do. Or are we going to be able to revert back to 2020, right? And understand that we were quarantined, which is very similar to sitting in traffic, and begin to utilize what we've already learned a year ago when shit hit the fan. So when you're growing and you're stuck in traffic and you're in construction or you're in quarantine, the resources and tools that are at our disposal today, these phones, these computers,
endless
possibilities to be able to accomplish whatever the hell you want to in life.
Yeah.
Right.
No other time.
This is no other time in history. This will never be like this again.
To grow, to market.
And it just made me go, wow. Are people still living with blinders on?
Absolutely.
Are they still unable to think outside the box? Like he's like, tell us what to do when we can't go anywhere. I'm like, you can go somewhere. It's called metaverse, right? It's digital, right? There's so much going on out there that we get so caught up into these day-to-day hiccups. I can't believe you're expanding the highway so we can drive faster. I said, man, please go spend a few months across the pond. Yeah. And let me know how bad you really got it.
Yeah. I think you are right, though. People do live like this, and I think a lot of people intentionally want to live like this, because when you open up like this and you can see everything, it kind of hurts a little bit at first.
Yeah.
Right? Your sensory overload type thing, especially when you're like this for so long.
I was going to say, especially even in the military, right? Like, everybody's busy. Everybody's busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
So leadership, again, one of my kind of pet peeves about leadership in the military is it's kind of becoming a lost art.
Yeah.
Right. When I was a young lieutenant, 05s were leaders.
Mm-hmm.
They had secretaries
Mhm.
because they don't need to be bogged down in
Day-to-day.
tapped out
Yeah.
evals. They need to be leading. They need to be looking out.
Eyes up.
They need to
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
strategizing, right?
Yeah.
And planning and making sure to be the vision casters of the direction and the mission.
And implementing.
And making sure that,
Mhm.
that it's being implemented. But literally today, as a commander in the Navy, I go into commander's office, captain's office. They don't even look up from their computer. They never leave their office all day long, 7 days a week. And you're like, what kind of leadership is that?
It's not.
So the point is, we get busy, whether it's intentional, like we were hiding from reality, or we're just busy.
Yeah.
And we're doing our things. Everybody is. And so the ability to step back, maybe invite some perspective in, shameless plug, it's good. It's good for me.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing here because I don't know any business owners. I grew up, I never knew anybody that owned their own business.
Yeah.
And so now
it's
a whole new world for me. Like, that's what I want. I want to talk to other people who are doing it. Don't have to be doing it perfectly.
Right.
Don't have to have all the answers.
Yeah.
But you figured out some answers. You figured out some. I want to learn and gather that. So again, I encourage anybody that's thinking about it, like, reach out, ask questions. No better time to get started and run your own business than today.
And Brian,
if you can't make money nowadays doing something out there, I mean, people are getting paid on TikTok to shake their ass on TikTok. If you can't make money today, you're wrong, man.
I had to send a few refunds.
That's to me. So you say, like, the way the world is now is totally different than it's probably ever going to be, but it's not ever going to be. It's going to continue to go this way unless we make a shift with our area, which then ripple effect, right? Sure. So with your children, you're teaching them the core values. You're teaching them the things that you have to do. That's the same with your team, with your people. So you have to understand that what you do today as a leader may not always be right. We're not always going to be right, but it has an effect. So remember that. Is it going to be a positive one, or is it going to be a negative one? And the choice is yours.
If anything we've learned over the past couple of years is we need to make changes.
Absolutely.
We can't continue down as a country. We can't continue down that same path. We've got to take things into control at a local level.
Yes.
Whether you like the mayor, don't like the mayor, those things.
No, I like the mayor.
We've got to get engaged and be heard.
Well, we're going to be self-destructive is what will end up happening. There will be so much animosity, so much resentment built up that people will just snap for no reason.
Yeah, but see, I don't see it that way.
No?
Well, let me rephrase that. I understand your point, but I don't see the world that way because I don't choose to live in that world. Right? I don't wake up and listen to the news.
I just happened to see it yesterday at this HOA meeting. I was like, holy crap. It was like this whole town of angry.
But the reason you're seeing it is because you put yourself there.
Yes.
Case in point.
Yes.
Right? Did you think about any of that before yesterday, before you went there?
Absolutely not.
Because we live at a different level.
Yeah.
Right? So when you decide to go back over here to this level where you got the complaining Karens and the whiny ass people running around this town,
say that.
Bro, that's not where you need to be. So if you're in the ditch, you're going to be in the ditch. Yes. But level up and get out of the ditch because you have a whole different perspective. Like you said with the leadership thing. Don't be like this. Eyes up. Commanding your force and running forward. 100%, man.
So I believe the biggest takeaway, we're kind of at the top of the hour, is the biggest thing is that I heard today is that there are no bad teams, there are bad leaders.
Yeah.
And if you feel like I used to feel like I was a bad leader because I didn't start seeing the success around my people quick enough. And so if you feel that you're a bad leader, take a look inside yourself. Are you lacking vision? Are you lacking clarity? Are you passing the blame on to other people? Right.
Or even the question of why.
Or why. You know what I mean? Do some internal search of yourself. Look at the person in the mirror. And if you're satisfied with that person in the mirror, then let's start figuring out what leadership traits that we can work on, what leadership traits that you may be lacking, and let's help you become the leader that we all know that you can become.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's gold in all of us.
There is absolutely.
There's gold, but it takes some mining. You got to kind of tap down into.
I'm just waiting for somebody to sit on me long enough. I'm going to turn into a diamond.
You talk about mining real quick, and, everybody always, struck gold.
Mhm.
That's the aha moment. What they didn't see was the 5,000 times chiseling away at that rock, right? So don't get it twisted. Yeah, cracking, hitting that rock and it breaks open in gold. That's tremendous. But where the real success in the journey is cracking away at that thing every day.
I don't know. I think it was taking the risk on buying the pickaxe. Like you know what I mean? Leaving that.
But it goes back to what you said. You're still in business 15 years later because of what you consistently got up and did the work every day.
Yeah, no matter how bad it sucked.
Get up and get to work.
By those who show up.
That's it, man.
Showing up is 99.9% of it, right?
What a great show, man.
Yeah. Jim, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. God, man, such a good show.
For popping on. I literally called him this morning and he was like, I was going to go to this networking event, but I'm canceling. I'm coming to see you guys.
So stoked, man. Yeah.
Let's go, Jim. So anyways, we appreciate it. Tune in next Wednesday. We got some big announcements coming up with some events that are going to be coming down the pipe. Say, just our Facebook page will probably keep you up to breast as soon as we delegate that to somebody.
Yeah. Be good, y'all.
Yeah, be good. Be good at it.
I nailed it last week.